Ladies and gentlemen, don't die a coward. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make one thing absolutely clear right from the start. Most people die with regret because they lived like cowards. They lived small, thought small, acted small, and died even smaller. They tiptoed through life hoping to avoid failure, rejection, and pain, only to end up with the greatest suffering of all, the torment of a wasted existence. The clock is ticking, and whether you like it or not, death is coming for you. The question isn't if you'll die, it's whether you'll die a lion or a lamb, a warrior or a weakling, a champion or a spectator. And let me tell you, most people are nothing more than timid spectators watching life from the sidelines, too afraid to play the game at full speed. You don't get a second shot at this. There are no do-overs, no rewinds, no extra chances. The time you waste being afraid is time you will never get back. The opportunities you let slip through your fingers because you were too scared to act will never return. Every second of hesitation is another nail in the coffin of your potential. And yet, what do most people do? They hide. They make excuses. They avoid risks. They sit in their little comfort zones, clinging to their pathetic illusions of safety, never realizing that the greatest risk of all is playing it safe. Let me ask you a simple question. When the end comes, when you're lying there taking your last breath, do you want to look back and say, I played it safe? I was cautious. I didn't ruffle any feathers? Or do you want to say, I gave it everything, I risked it all, I took my shot, and I lived like a fucking warrior? Because make no mistake, that's the only thing that matters in the end. Not your bank balance, not your job title, not how many likes you got on social media, but whether you lived with courage or cowered in fear. If you have even an ounce of ambition, if there's even a spark of desire in you to be more, do more, and have more, then you must kill the coward inside you. You must become ruthless with yourself. You must declare war on fear, on hesitation, on weakness, because the world doesn't reward cowards, it crushes them. It forgets them, it buries them in unmarked graves while the bold carve their names into history. This isn't a game for the weak. This isn't a world that tolerates mediocrity. You either step up, face your fears, and dominate, or you fade into nothingness like the millions of nobodies before you. There is no middle ground. There is no safety net. There is no participation trophy for those who choose comfort over courage. You either rise or you rot. And if you choose to rot, then at least have the decency to admit it to yourself. Because the only thing worse than a coward is a coward in denial. So let's cut the bullshit and get straight to the point. If you're ready to stop being a spineless, excuse-making, permission-seeking nobody, then listen up. Here are 7 brutal, unfiltered truths that will either make you or break you. If you have the guts to embrace them, you will never die a coward. If you don't, then you might as well stop reading now, because this isn't for the weak-hearted. Fear is the lie you tell yourself. Fear is the greatest scam ever sold. It's the invisible chain that keeps most people locked in mediocrity, whispering in their ears that they're not good enough, not ready, not capable. And the worst part, they believe it. They let fear dictate every move they make, or more accurately, the moves they never make. They freeze, they hesitate, they overthink, and in doing so, they waste their lives waiting for the perfect moment that will never come. But let me tell you something, fear isn't real. It's a lie, a ghost, a self-created illusion that only exists because you let it. It's not some unstoppable force. It's not a physical barrier standing in your way. It's nothing but thoughts in your head. Thoughts that you control. And if you control them, then you have the power to destroy them. But most people won't. Why? Because they'd rather stay prisoners of their own bullshit than step into the unknown. You know what fear really is? It's the enemy of action. It's the voice in your head that tells you to wait, to think about it, to play it safe. And every time you listen to it, you reinforce its power over you. Every second you spend doubting yourself, hesitating, making excuses, you're handing over control to fear. And let me be clear, fear is a ruthless master. It doesn't care how talented you are, how big your dreams are, or how much potential you have. If you let it, it will run your life into the ground. The only way to kill fear is through action, period. You don't think your way out of fear. You don't negotiate with it. You don't wait for it to disappear. You act in spite of it. You move forward even when you're terrified. You make decisions before you feel ready, because guess what? You'll never feel ready. And if you're waiting for fear to go away before you take action, you'll be waiting until the day they put you in the ground. The people who win in life aren't fearless. That's a myth. They just refuse to let fear control them. They understand that fear is a test, and the only way to pass is to push through it every single time. Because every time you push through fear, it gets weaker. Every time you let it stop you, it gets stronger. And if you keep letting it win, it will own you. It will make you its slave. And slaves don't live legendary lives. So, here's the truth. Fear isn't going anywhere. It will always be there, waiting for the weak-minded to obey it. But you don't have to be one of them. You can break the cycle. You can make fear your bitch instead of being its. But it starts with a decision to act no matter how scared you are. The only question is, will you? Comfort is a disease that will kill you. If fear is the chain that keeps people stuck, comfort is the poison that kills them slowly. It lulls them into a false sense of security, whispering in their ears that they're doing just fine, that they don't need to push harder, that it's okay to take it easy, and before they know it, they're trapped in the same routine, the same paycheck, the same predictable, mediocre life. They're not dead yet, but they're not really alive either. Comfort is a drug, and the weak are addicted to it. They want the easy way out. They want success without sacrifice, results without risk, rewards without the work. And because of that, they stay exactly where they are year after year, stuck in a loop of doing just enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. And then they wonder why they're miserable, why they wake up every morning feeling empty, why they have this gnawing sense of regret that only gets worse with time. Let me be clear. If you are comfortable, you are dying, slowly, pathetically. The second you stop pushing, the second you stop growing, you start rotting. You may not see it immediately, but make no mistake, it's happening. Your potential is decaying. Your ambition is withering. And every day that you choose comfort over challenge, you are moving one step closer to an unremarkable, unforgettable existence. The people who dominate in this world aren't the ones who seek comfort. They're the ones who chase discomfort, who throw themselves into the fire again and again because they understand that growth only happens under pressure. They don't take the easy route. They don't seek shortcuts. They don't look for an escape. They embrace the struggle because they know it's the price of greatness. The biggest lie society has ever told you is that you should aim for a comfortable life. That if you just get a decent job, a nice house, and a stable routine, you've made it. That's bullshit. Comfort is the enemy of ambition. It's the killer of dreams. It's the silent executioner of the weak. If you want more, if you want to be more, then you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So, I'll leave you with a choice. You can stay where you are, clinging to your pathetic sense of security, rotting away in your little bubble of comfort, or you can burn it all down. You can step into the unknown. You can embrace the pain, the struggle, the uncertainty. And in doing so, you can finally live. But you can't have both. Choose wisely. Pain is the price of greatness. Pay up or shut up. Yeah, you don't get to be great without suffering. You don't get to be a champion without pain. Every single person who has ever achieved anything of significance paid a brutal price. They bled for it. They sacrificed for it. They endured hardship most people couldn't even comprehend. That's the tax for success, and there are no discounts. But here's the problem. Most people aren't willing to pay. They want the rewards without the struggle. They want the body without the workouts. They want the money without the risk. They want the respect without proving themselves. And that's why they fail. Because in this world, you don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to suffer for. Pain is not an obstacle, it's the gateway. It's the test that separates the winners from the losers. The weak run from it, avoid it, and complain about it. The strong embrace it, push through it, and use it as fuel. The weak say, this is too hard. The strong say, this is necessary. That's the difference. That's why the weak will always lose, and the strong will always rise. The sooner you stop resisting pain and start using it, the sooner you'll start winning, because pain is the most powerful teacher on the planet. It forces you to grow. It forces you to evolve. It forces you to become stronger than you ever thought possible. The only question is, are you willing to endure it? Or are you going to keep running, keep avoiding, keep pretending that you can find some easy way out? Let me make it simple for you. There is no easy way out. The path to success is paved with pain. And if you're not willing to suffer, then step aside and watch someone else take what could have been yours. Because the ones who are willing to endure more pain than anyone else are the ones who will always win. That's not motivation, it's math. It's reality. And if you can't accept that, you've already lost. So, you have two choices. Either embrace the pain and use it to build the life you want, or keep running from it and die full of regret. But don't stand in the middle. Don't sit there half in, half out, complaining that life isn't fair. Life isn't supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be conquered. And the ones who conquer it are the ones who can take the most pain, period. Your time is running out faster than you think. Most people live like they have forever. They act like they can afford to waste time, like they can put off their goals until later. But let me tell you something, there is no later, there is no someday, there is only now. And every second that passes is a second you will never get back. Think about this, if you live to be 80, that's roughly 4,000 weeks. That's it, and if you're already 30, you've burned through over 1,500 of those weeks. Let that sink in. Most of your life is already gone, and yet you're still waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for things to be easier, waiting until one day you wake up and realize it's too late. The scariest part, you won't even see it coming. One day, you'll look in the mirror and you'll see an old man or an old woman staring back at you. And in that moment, you'll realize that all the things you wanted to do, all the dreams you had, all the risks you should have taken, it's all gone. The window has closed and you can't go back. This isn't some motivational speech, this is reality. The clock is ticking, and the only question is, what the hell are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep wasting time? Are you going to keep making excuses? Are you going to keep pretending that you have all the time in the world? Or are you finally going to wake up and act? Because here's the truth. Tomorrow isn't promised. You don't know how much time you have left. You could be gone next year, next month, next week. And if that happens, what will you leave behind? A life of regrets? A list of things you wished you had done? Or a legacy that proves you lived with courage and took every opportunity that came your way? Time is the most valuable asset you have, and yet most people treat it like it's unlimited. Don't be one of them. Stop wasting time. Stop putting things off. Stop pretending that you have forever. You don't. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start living like it matters, because it does. More than anything, winners win, losers die. Choose your side. This world is black and white. There are winners and there are losers. There are lions and there are sheep. There are those who rise and those who rot. And every single day you are making a choice about which one you will be. Winners don't complain. Winners don't hesitate. Winners don't wait for permission. They take risks, they fail, they get back up, and they do it all over again until they win. And because of that, they dominate, they create legacies, they write their names in history. Losers, they sit around blaming the world, they make excuses, they play the victim, they talk about what they could have done instead of actually doing it. And when their time is up, they die forgotten. So which one are you? Decide now, because tomorrow is too damn late.